Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook. We are back. You know how we do it. In the house again is my guy, the guru of Minneapolis sports, Mr. Patrick Buchanan. Pat, it's football season, man. How you doing? How you doing?
Great, man. You're right. It is football season. We're getting deeper, closer and closer to the first preseason. First, we got to take off with the Hall of Fame game, but then get these preseasons. I get a joy of that, man. I don't know how you feel, but I like preseason. It's not about the number ones. It's about the depth, right? What the depth chart looks like to me, football's here, and I'm excited, especially for these preseason games to come around, just to get us a little warmed up.
Yeah, I love preseason, man. I like it because I got to get out of my mind that we're not going to see like the main guys that we're going to see for the majority of the year. But this is kind of your chance to see the UDFAs, the draft picks that, may not be in a rotation when the season starts. So I always welcome that. And then if we won't have a quarterback battle this year, but if you look at my Cleveland Browns, way to the east, they got a 4-quarterback battle going on. So that's going to be interesting to watch each week to see who wins that, man. But I'm ready to go with my Vikings, man. Big news out of Minnesota Vikings training camp is my guy Josh Metellus got his bag, 3 years, $36 million with incentives. It goes up to about $42 million. So it's not quite Cam Beasley money, but it's in the conversation. It's in the neighborhood. Were you surprised that the Minnesota Vikings got this done? I mean, I knew that it probably would get done. I just didn't expect it to get done so fast. Were you surprised that it got done this fast?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. That's an organizational thing, right?
Yeah.
And you look at a lot of different organizations and how they've been handling and how players have been holding out or how they've been handling contracts, right? And the one thing, we always talk about, we hit on some undrafted free agents last couple of years. We hit on some picks, but we like grand slammed, right, the free agency. No. When we comes to taking care of our guys under contract, that's a home run in itself, right?
Yeah.
You're not dealing with the, you're not worried, right?
Right.
In practice, you're not worried about it's the business part of the game, but we don't have to worry about, man, is he gonna be there, right? We get a chance to get our chemistry. Like we have full participation at OTAs and mini camp, and to walk into training camp, and for a guy like Martellus is like, nah, I'm showing up, I'm gonna be there, I'm a captain, right? I'm gonna be there, I'm not going to, I'm a trust. Like I read the article, it talked about it as, Kwesi tells him, I'm not going to lie to you. He's honest with you about where you are in your contract situation. And I think that's the reason why our organization is different, which sets us apart from a lot of other organizations. So, man, well deserved though, right? They talking about that this man, Travis Hunter, like his nickname is the unicorn, right?
Right. Yeah.
But a true unicorn, that's Martellus. That can line up in 9 different, 9 different spots. That's a unicorn, right? Because that's unheard of. Like, tell me another defensive player that has done that, right? And he's one of the most unique players in the entire NFL, especially on the defensive end. And he's one of our gems to make us go. Like, if we lost him and kept buying him, I probably wouldn't have been as happy. Just because the Swiss Army knife in Martellus. So, I hate to see Bynum leave, but, well done job by the organization, by Kwesi, KOC, B-Flow, the Wilfs, everybody. Get these things done. You guys talk about your 3 to 5 window, so let's not have these issues coming into camps.
So Pat, I'm going to be devil's advocate here, man, because I was on, one of my boys' podcasts. We were talking about this exact same subject with Metellus, and I got a little bit of pushback because I'm not a Metellus hater. Like, I am a big fan of Josh Metellus, but I'm also a big fan of the salary cap. I'm also a big fan of being able to make moves with J.J. McCarthy under his rookie contract. And the Minnesota Vikings are doing well by their guys, man. Don't get me wrong. Guys that need their contract signed, they're putting pen to paper. They're signing these guys just like they did Metellus. Now, the Minnesota Vikings next year are ascending towards being over the salary cap, man. So here's what I know about the salary cap is that you're either going to pay now or you're either going to pay later. And so now with all these contract extensions, man, all these contract extensions, it's like I'm afraid that the Vikings are going to lose some of their flexibility. Like, I agree, Josh Metellus needs to be on this roster for the 2025 season. He needs to be taken care of. I guess is 3 years too long for a Josh Metellus?
Josh Metellus, what is that, 27 years old?
27, yeah.
27. 3 years. That's through he's 30, right? My man is entering his prime right now.
Yeah.
You know, so no, that's not too long. But all these extensions and this 3-year plans, right, is get all this stuff done. They, like you said, they do a fantastic job with, you know, UDFAs, right?
Yep.
So they do a fantastic job with picking up guys to fill in gaps here and there. I'm not worried about it because the one thing I know is that you can turn a lot of money into signing bonuses.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And they could take a lot of contracts that become on end and turn them into signing bonus, give them that splash, opens up that cap, doesn't make the cap hit. So I know that they're very creative in that. So I'm not worried about it. The only thing that I would say when it comes to it is every team should do this and build it up to win. And it's built to win in this span. If we win one in this span, if we are in the Super Bowl, so that means that at least you built it and got there. So in this next 3 years, if we're in the Super Bowl or win that thing, then my hat tips off, right? Because you built it the right way.
Yeah.
You know, and all under a rookie contract. So
yeah, and you keep mentioning the next 3 years, man, and I think you are hitting it dead on the head. I think the Minnesota Vikings, they won't probably say it out publicly, you know, because each year they want to present, hey, we're going for the Super Bowl every year. But I think they've got that 3-year window that they're looking at where they want to make something happen in terms of the Super Bowl within that 3-year window. I think you made a great point on the last podcast. You're like, all of these contracts are similar. Everybody has the same starting date primarily. Everybody has the starting end date primarily. And that kind of just sends the message out there to Minnesota Viking fans, hey, this 3-year window is when we're going to try to get it done.
Yep, and that's a smart thing to do before, you know, JJ has a great year these 3 years at the market. You know, he's going to be at, you know, mid high 40s to $50 million. And that's going to eat up a lot of stuff. So if you get it done within them, then you at least did it. And now you have to find a different way to do it, a different recipe without paying a quarterback at a high price. Right. So it's smart. Like, well, everybody, you know, Gink getting his extension and Martellus getting this and Murphy getting his. Right, all these guys is deserving of them getting their dollars, you know. And Aaron Jones got an extension, Oliver got an extension. So I look at all those guys that got extension. You know, Theo got an opportunity to re-sign and now be in this position that he is in. So I think they're fantastic. You kept camaraderie, right, and you get to fill in gaps and holes. And you and I know as coach, man, we get a new piece in there. Like, if you got a really good team and you evaluating and you're like, okay, I only got to fill in a piece here or there, right? That's fantastic, instead of like a whole makeover. And the makeover from what the team looked like in 2022 to what the team looks like for 2025.
That's right.
You took care of your guys. You got the guys in there that you needed to.
Yeah, listen, man, you brought up Theo Jackson. And, you know, Theo Jackson's going to get his opportunity this year. But I think the verdict is still out on whether or not he can solidify that safety role that they're going to put him in. I think the insurance policy is going to be Metellus going back there and playing full-time back there. But I really don't want that, man. I want Theo Jackson to hit So now we can have the luxury to keep Metellus in the role that he's been in for the last couple of years with the Minnesota Vikings, all over the place. Play a little bit of linebacker, a little bit of strong safety, a little bit of free safety, lining up in the slot. I think that if Theo doesn't hit, or for some reason they have some sort of reservations about Theo, I think Josh Metellus, that's going to be his primary spot. So I don't know what your thoughts is on that, but I'm hoping Theo Jackson really takes a hold of that safety spot.
I really think, Theo is going to take it, right? The assumption is, and this, I was listening to something, and I was just saying to myself, man, what my man Harrison has, Hitman has been doing, right? And I'm like, man, Hitman staying around. Let's get this Super Bowl. This man deserves it, right?
That's right.
I mean, you're talking about you're talking about a first ballot, right? He's a first ballot. Hands down, He's the first ballot.
Yeah.
For the first ballot to have his opportunity to win is good. But I go back to last podcast when we was talking about Isaiah Rodgers, right? And the time he was on the field, what was his production? Now you try to multiply that and like, okay, can we get the same results, right? And that's the same for Theo, right? Theo's in this situation. You don't let a Bynum go unless you trust and and you've seen things, right?
Yeah.
And once again, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Who in the world can tell that man B-Flow that he doesn't know if someone is ready or not?
Yeah, I trust B-Flow.
Right?
I trust B-Flow.
So he knows that man is ready. It's great to have those three safeties back there, especially with one as versatile as he is. But it's very unique. Like you talk about, okay, a front seven, but then you got this little wild card that can fill in anywhere of the spots on the field. So what? I mean, that's very nice to have with what they're building. And like he can do it. Theo can do it. If they felt there was a weak link, even right now, you would be hearing about it. And that's not what we're hearing about. Yeah, everyone's going to question Theo. That's the question on defense. People are questioning Theo more than they're questioning Rodgers. Okay. People are questioning on the offense side just J.J. McCarthy more than they questioning a rookie in Donovan, right?
Yep.
So they're okay. Yeah, everyone has it, but they're professionals, so we'll see what they can do. I mean, I really do think we should probably stop questioning J.J. McCarthy now. I really do.
Yeah, the one person that I'm going to stop questioning, and I really haven't been questioning him at all, but I do hear a smattering of people during the course of the season utter his name in a negative light, and I don't understand how you can do that. And I'm talking about my guy B-Flow. B-Flow has got this defense primed and ready. And listen, man, I know it's normal at the beginning of training camp, usually for the defense to be ahead of the offense, and that is certainly the case right now. If you go over to Vikings headquarters, the defense is way ahead of the offense. The offense isn't bad, but the defense right now, man, is really box office. And a big part of that defense is somebody that everybody wants to see hit, and that is my guy Dallas Turner. And I have been really surprised at what KOC and B-Flow have really come out and said about Dallas Turner. I mean, they have been really candid. They have come out and said, listen, we got to find a way to keep on the field at the same time Jonathan Grenard, Van Ginkel, and Dallas Turner. So you're talking about three bona fide edge rushers getting time together on the field at the same time. That looks like a big game plan for the Minnesota Vikings. And right now, Dallas Turner is turning heads in practice every day. Every day, there's something good coming out about Dallas Turner. What are your thoughts about Dallas Turner, man, in his second year?
You don't make that move last year to come up in the first round to pick him, right? It's most rookies come in and most rookies got to learn, right? And if you are a sponge as a rookie, you know what you got to do. And for him to be a sponge, but to come in bigger, faster, stronger like he did. I mean, have you seen how big Dallas Turner looks right now? Like Dallas Turner looks small. Like I want to be.
He's been living in the weight room. He's been living in the weight room.
Was eating it. Just body is, and like he said, it's not like I gained a lot of weight. It's just that I had the way I structured my body, the way I ate, right? Getting that regimen, right? And being a professional. Dallas is like you talk about the three up front, right? You got your, the grave digger, right? Your Phillips and, JA, right? Then you got JG and Gink. Then to make the seven, that's Cash and J, that's Turner and Cashman right there. So um like that's a like, once again, who wants to deal with that seven?
Nobody wants to deal with that seven, Pat. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That's the best front seven in football.
That's hands down. There's no better front seven than that in all of the NFL. Like, and that's not just being a Vikings fan. That's just being realistic. That front seven is ridiculous. Martellus said yesterday, as they were in the little 2-minute drill, he was like, man, in a 2-minute drill, I didn't even break a sweat because I turned and looked in the backfield and they was back there, right? The three up front, they was like the rush that was put there. Like, I didn't even have to do nothing. So Dallas is another piece. Like, you can look and say he went through his rookie year, but the reality is, to this defense, someone who's going to get way more snaps than he got, counts than he did last year. And with the addition, so you look, it's like we got 3 additions up front to a front seven that was already good. You just now made it great.
Right.
And you made it scary. And you made for opposing quarterbacks to feel a certain way. But I also want to take with this, as we're talking about that defense front and Dallas in it, all this doing is, is sharpening iron on the other end, the other side of the field, right? That's all it's doing for that offensive line that we know once it gets together and meshes is going to be good. For a quarterback in there to see the looks that he's seeing, like, iron sharpen iron, like they are sharpening iron right now with each other. Yeah, the defense probably kicking their ass, but you talking about a defense that can pull 4 or 5 Pro Bowlers off of that, this year. I mean, I know there's a lot of teams or whatever, but you're going to be able to pull a lot of all-pro players off of that defense this year. So Dallas just makes it, I believe that it's a copycat league, right? Any sport is, and the copycat part of it is the Super Bowl champions didn't have to rush that much because of their front seven. And now their front seven has depleted, and ours has gotten better. And San Francisco's front seven has depleted, and ours have gotten better, right? So our front seven essentially got better to be able to mirror what I feel that the Philadelphia Eagles did.
Yeah, and I think this is what's going to make B-Flow dangerous, man, because I think they look at a guy like Dallas Turner, and I'm just talking about front seven stuff. I'm not talking about secondary, but I think they're going to use him just like they do Josh Metellus. I think they're going to put him all over the place in that front seven. I think you mentioned in our last podcast, I believe it was you, when you were like, you're looking at Dallas Turner being a 10-sack-plus guy possibly, and possibly getting a pick 6 this year. So they're going to be using him, dropping back in coverage. He's going to be rushing off the edge. I predict that he's going to play a little bit of D-tack. When they go to that NASCAR formation, he's going to play a little bit of inside linebacker. So whenever you are an opposing quarterback and you get under center, you are going to have to check off where Dallas Turner is. And Pat, I think you make a really good case, man, because people are looking at all these new weapons that the Minnesota Vikings have. A lot of rushers and run stoppers. B-Flow's not going to have to blitz like he did the last couple of years, man. You're talking about a 53% blitz rate from the Minnesota Vikings. B-Flow's not going to have to do that. And I think sometimes people associate blitzing with playing good defense. No, man, when you can blitz here and there and then drop back in coverage and play press man and throw a lot of different defenses at offensive coordinator, that makes you a better coordinator. Now we're going to see the beast of Dr. Blitzenstein, Brian Flores, because you're talking about playing with people's minds, Pat. Yeah. Now he's got his toys, man. He's got his toys. He's got this, and I'm not throwing shade at any other year, man, but this is the first year, honestly, where he is pretty much going to have everything in place.
Everything.
If you want to talk about the secondary, the cornerback position kind of being suspect, okay, I'll listen to that. but I think the secondary is going to be okay. I think the secondary is going to be okay, and that front seven's not going to do anything to hurt them. They're only going to help them. I think you are going to see vintage B-Flow for the first time in 3 years for the Minnesota Vikings because he's got all of his personnel in place, man.
If you had probably like a salary cap, right?
Yep.
And the salary cap where he said, okay, you got $75, $80 million to spend on this defense. What things are you going to get, B-Flow? And then you would add on top of that, like, that understand what you want to do. So these guys, you got guys that are 2 years with experience coming into their second year of it or coming into their third year of this experience, right? And now you just added, like you said, him and like people don't realize that Isaiah Rodgers is not just out the blue.
No.
For him.
He wanted him.
They are connected and people don't even know it, right? Theo is not out the blue, right? The guys up front are veterans, right? That we picked up. So in an idealistic defense, like I'm be honest with you, I've seen one of the best defenses that I've ever seen that I'm not a fan of theirs and wasn't a fan, but I was a fan always. And there's just something they do. It is the Baltimore Ravens, right? And Baltimore Ravens for a long time defense is one of the like sexiest defenses, the toughest defenses. We've as long as I've been a fan, I have never, ever, even under Zimmer, seen a defense like this that we have. We have never seen none. But then at the same sense of saying that, on the offensive end, like it's not that you depleted on the offensive end. You got massive weapons and a front fours, a front five offensive lines. I just like this defense is special. Like Martellus said, offense sell tickets, defense win championships. And that's the mindset that they got, right? And it was like JJ McCarthy ain't got to do too much because he has very explosive weapons over there, but he has a defense that's just going to get him the ball back.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, when it comes to that defense, I think everybody thinks we're going to be top 5 in the league. And whenever I hear some sort of negative verbiage or chatter about the defense, it's always at the cornerback spot. And the name that keeps popping up is Jeff Okudah, my guy from the Ohio State University. He hasn't had a great start to his career, but he is somebody that B-Flow wanted. He was drafted really high, and he hasn't really panned out. A lot of people use the word bust when it comes to Jeff Okudah. Like, give me your thoughts. The one pushback that I always say when people come at me about Jeff Okudah is he's never had a coach like B-Flow on defense. He's never been mentored by a guy like B-Flow. And again, man, B-Flow's credit is good with me. If B-Flow wants somebody, that means he sees something in that individual that he feels like he can use. Man, give me your thoughts about Jeff Okudah. Do you think he's the bust that everybody says he is, or does he make a comeback this year?
I'm gonna describe him in 3 words, and that's all I'm gonna say. And like any coach would want to hear this: tough, physical, hard-nosed.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with that.
Like,
I agree.
That's it. Like you're talking about your number 3 corner being those things right there in a defense that is surrounded by studs.
Can he cover though, Patrick? Can he cover?
Why can't he cover? Why can he not cover?
I think the evidence, people are going to say, and again, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm just letting you know what other people are saying out there. Like he has trouble in man-to-man coverage. He has trouble getting toasted on plays. Like he's got a resume of that right now. Like that's undisputed. Can he turn it around this year under the Minnesota Vikings system?
Can I say something like?
Yep.
And I'm a flow with me with this one, okay?
Okay.
All right. Where do you rank B-Flow as defensive coordinators in the league?
Oh, I think he's the top in the league. I know people like to talk about the gentleman from Kansas City. He's no scrub, but I'm talking in terms of who does the most with the least. I think you can argue that B-Flow has done that the last 2 years. B-Flow's the best defense coordinator in the league, my opinion.
Okay, so hold on to that. Now we're gonna come back to that in a minute.
Yep.
where do you rank KOC with offensive minds and just offensive minds? I'll just say offensive mind.
I would put KOC right now because that's a tough question. It's hard.
Is he in your top 5?
He's flirting with the top 5. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Flirting with the top 5. How do you think he does with quarterback?
I think he's A1. Okay. He's A1.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use Jeff Okudah and I'm gonna use Sam Darnold in the same sentence, right?
Okay. Yep.
And Sam, everybody had what could everybody say about Sam in his career? Right? He's a buzz, right? You talking about a top pick that was a buzz that was now became his 5th team, with us. 4th, 5th team, and he couldn't do nothing. Well, shit, was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, all of the NFL last year, right?
Yeah.
I credit that to who? KOC and Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Jeff Okudah. If he is with the ace of aces in the defensive mind, and he went and he handpicked them, what do you think the man knows that he may not have got somewhere else? So basically, he just left an organization whose defense was ranked where? Probably not a great defensive mind right there that fits him, right? It has schemes fit players, right? I always love the way that KOC said it. Like, even for quarterbacks, not forget about it, but even every position, like, organizations can fail players, right? And maybe in this sense, he has been failed by other organizations, and now he has the opportunity to achieve in an organization. But once again, I could go with physical, tough, and hard-nosed with this man, and he can achieve. Can he guard in this system? Yes, he can, right? He can. You get the right, like, coach, I can go out there and play cornerback for this team. Like, I can go play the nickel, right? And I know I can play the nickel because I'm like, damn, I got that up front. Damn, I got that on the back end. Like, how can you not be successful playing in this?
Well, I think, man, people need to really read between the lines. Like, when all this stuff was going on with, it seemed like to me during the offseason, nobody wanted J.J. McCarthy to be the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And when I say nobody, I'm talking about all the national media people. They were talking about, Daniel Jones, and they were talking about possibly bringing Sam Darnold back. And then you had all the Aaron Rodgers stuff. And you know what happened? The Minnesota Vikings said no to all of those options, and they went to J.J. McCarthy. I kind of look at the same thing on the defensive side of the ball with a guy like Jeff Okudah. They didn't have to pick up Jeff Okudah. They had an opportunity to go out and add like a Jalen Ramsey. The Green Bay Packers right across the border, they got rid of their best cornerback. Minnesota Vikings had an opportunity to pick him up, put him on the roster. They said no to all those guys. So it goes back to what you've been saying all along. When you know what you got and your confidence in it, you stay with what you got, no matter what everybody else kind of speculates out there. So I'm with you, man. I trust B. Flow. His credit is good with me. Obviously, he wanted Jeff Okudah on this team for a reason. And they have had opportunities since they got him. They have had opportunities to upgrade the position, and they haven't. So when they don't make those kind of moves, I mean, they're in practice with these dudes every day. When they don't make those type of moves, man, when players are out there available, I'm good because it tells me that they're good. And if they're good with what they got in that locker room in terms of personnel, man, I'm good. I'm good. So it says a lot about Jeff Okudah. Another guy, Pat, that I want to talk to you about, man, that's been turning heads. Obviously, they got the suspension looming. Jordan Addison's having a great training camp. He's having a great training camp. Again, his name keeps coming out of training camp. He's making big plays on film. He and J.J. McCarthy has connected a few times already during training camp with bombs over the top. I mean, he's looking really, really good. Thoughts on Jordan Addison? Thoughts about his suspension and what type of year do you think he's going to have?
I think, his games he played last year, he was.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to get hit across the head to get the message. His off season, like his whole off season, like I'll be honest, I was paying attention to, was his name ever going to pop up?
Yeah.
Right. Did you mature? Did you learn from it, or are you still being dumb? And, everything that I hear is he's been a professional. He's been a professional. They know what's coming, but he's not trying to mess up. And he's a special talent, and we might be lucky and blessed and smart to have brought in a Rondale Moore and then to have, Lucky back there and Ty Felton. But to have Speedy play and have his best year ever, and when this guy he takes his suspension, Speedy takes over there. Now you got to fill in the gaps and holes other places. Addison, I don't know how many number twos that you could really say can compare to Addison, right?
Right.
Maybe two.
T. Higgins, maybe.
Maybe,
Yeah.
With those numbers that he puts up, it's really hard to find a number two that's like that, right? He's special. They go together. They mesh together. We're going to have to do something soon with him because this is year 3. And you're going to get one more year to do something with him before you're going to have to give him a bag. So,
yeah. Well, here's my question, Pat. Do you again, man? These are tough decisions. Like, are you gonna put that amount of money in the wide receiver room? Okay, obviously you're gonna pay Jets. You just paid him. You gonna give Jordan Addison a bag? Like, do you sign him to a second contract if you're the Minnesota Vikings? Now, I'm not even talking talent, man, because talent, obviously he's got the talent. Obviously he's going to deserve the money. I'm talking about what a Minnesota Vikings salary cap is going to be. J.J. McCarthy, again, is still under that rookie contract. Eventually, you're going to have to pay J.J. Like, what do you do with Jordan Addison, man? The Bengals were in the same situation a few months ago. They chose to pay 2 wide receivers a bunch of money. Now, that's not a great formula for success in terms of building out your team. So what are your thoughts on what the Minnesota Vikings going to do when they have to cross that bridge?
If he makes in the 20-something, like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith making the money, and Hurts is getting his money as a quarterback, and they got Saquon in the backfield, right?
Yeah.
And they just won a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to sit up here and say it can't be done. I'm not going to say it can't be done. How can you let him go?
If you are the general manager of the Minnesota Vikings, and it is time for that contract, let's say he balls out this year. You look at his track record of off the field stuff, but then you got to look at his success on the field as well. All right? If you're the general manager, Patrick Buchanan, new general, you take over for Kwesi. Do you give him the bag?
He getting a big signing bonus. He getting a fat bonus just so his annual doesn't eat too much up, right? His bonus is massive just so he doesn't eat the cap up from year to year that much. Yeah. He's getting one. There's I've always watched us with our wide receivers, how we've done with them, and with our number twos and guys coming up. This is, outside of when we had Chris Carter and Randy Moss,
Jake Reed.
What's that?
Jake Reed.
And Jake Reed, right? But we've never had, even when Rice was good here, and, Diggs and, you had Thielen there and Percy Harvin, right? We never had a number 2 like this, right? What I can literally say is all our number ones that we've had before Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison compares to all of them.
Yeah.
And that's special.
Yeah.
And you can't let that out, right? Jordan Addison, he compares, and Jordan Addison is a number 1 wide receiver, someone else. Now, if J.J. McCarthy's balling out and he loves what he's getting from J.J. McCarthy and this connection they have, but why would he want to leave? He might be like, man, this organization stuck with me. I did dumb stuff and they stuck with me, and they take care of their guys and they taking care of me. Why? Why go somewhere else?
Yeah. The only thing I can see, man, is if, he starts to ball out like I think he will ball out. And, sometimes these guys, man, they get in their head that they want to be a number 1. They get caught up in all these titles, being able to say, hey, this is my team. I don't think he's ever going to be able to do that as long as Justin Jefferson is here. Maybe he gets that in his head, but you're right. Minnesota Vikings have done nothing but support him. This is a great place to raise a family. This is a great organization to be with. So I don't know why you would want to leave, but you never know about these athletes, man. They get really, really weird stuff in their head. Here's one thing I want to pick your brain about, Pat, because you are a football guy. You've coached the game, you've been around the game. You know, a lot of conversation has been made about this wide receiver 3 position. And, you know, everybody's talking about, you know, Ty Felton, you know, Jalen Naylor. Those are the guys that are looking at that wide receiver 3. Obviously, Jalen Naylor's been here longer, knows the playbook a little bit better, and he's probably going to be wide receiver 2 when Addison has to serve his suspension. My question to you, Pat, is this: how important is wide receiver 3? I asked this on my guy when I had Rap on the podcast, and I asked him this question. For the Minnesota Vikings, how important is wide receiver 3? I think it may be, and don't get me wrong, but I think it's an overrated position with the Minnesota Vikings offense and their scheme. Because you look at Justin Jefferson, you look at Jordan Addison, and then essentially he's not labeled wide receiver 3, but you got TJ Hawkinson, who I think is going to be, you know, JJ McCarthy's insurance policy. So I think he's going to eat up a lot of that wide receiver 3 production. Like, am I thinking about that wrong? Like, you've coached the game. To me, I look at TJ Hawkinson as more of a wide receiver 3 than Jalen Naylor.
So in the sense of, if you're thinking about it in your top 3 targets that you're looking at, yeah, you could look at TJ Hawkinson in that. But the wide receiver 3, all you're doing is dragging a defensive player out the way and opening up space almost, right?
Yep.
You can look at it in our sense where our wide receiver 3, right, is the 4th option, maybe even the 5th option, depending on the personnel who's in the backfield.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think this year more than the previous years, and it'll evolve. I think last year he was important as a number 3, right? Because TJ was coming back, but I believe the personnel, we're going to see a lot of 22 personnel and 21 personnel, right? And 22 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. 21 personnel, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. We're going to see a lot of, I mean, you know, 21 is with 2 and 2 and then 12 personnel, right? So 2 tight end sets a lot because I believe we're going to run the ball. Like you said last time, and I just been paying attention to him or whatever. It's important, but if we didn't have a Pro Bowl caliber tight end, right, or we re-signed Oliver and we don't have the 2 studs we have back there, I think the number 3 spot becomes way, way, way more important. But there's KOC ain't, you know, I think last year, what I think he was at 50-something%, you know, of passing. You know, so he's getting close to that 50-50. I think it's going to be more important later in the season more than early in the season.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
so early we got to take care of the young fella back there under center. So, yeah.
Listen, but you know, a lot of people, they're getting exhausted with the conversation about JJ McCarthy. I don't know how you can. He's the highest drafted quarterback in the history of the Minnesota Vikings, and he's finally getting a chance to get under center and do his thing, and he's doing his thing at Minnesota Viking training camp. The one thing that I've been impressed with was the first week. Obviously, he's had some highlights, but man, his layered throws. And what I mean by layered throws is just over the reach of the linebacker, in between the linebacker and the safety, where you got maybe TJ Hawkinson running a little bit of a drag route or a mini post. Like, his layered throws are on the money. And it seems to me that every ball that comes out of his hand, Patrick Buchanan, is a tight spiral. So I don't want to hear this mess about him not having an arm or a cannon or anything like that. Anybody that comes to Minnesota Vikings training camp, you will see for yourself that the guy can make all the throws. And I think the hardest throws in football are those layered throws. And I don't think he's missed one of them all training camp long. J.J. McCarthy is that dude, Pat.
He's that dude.
He's that dude, man.
The guy could, you don't go to Michigan without being a good high school quarterback, right? You don't get drafted in the NFL in the top 10 without being a good quarterback, right? And then you're under who we talk about is, Mr. Whisperer, coach of the year, right? You done had the man they've done everything. Like when his meniscus was out, didn't mean he couldn't throw the football. Like they've been him and Josh McCown. You talking about he is in there with two people that have played the quarterback position.
Yeah. It doesn't get any better than that.
It didn't. How does it get?
It doesn't get any better than that.
That have held a clipboard or been on that field playing, where they were the number 2 or the number 1 at points in their career. I mean, like they said, they've been working on his touch, and I've been hearing, like he has a tight spiral. I heard he has a hell of a fastball, and he's been learning how to put touch on it. Right. Yeah. And I have not seen any goose, any geese, any ducks, any type of birds flying around in training camp from him at all. Like them is some like you just said, tight spirals. He has all the tools. Everything that we're seeing, hearing is exactly why we didn't re-sign anyone else.
Yes. He's the cleanup guy, Pat. He's the cleanup guy, man. People can throw all these negative things out about J.J. McCarthy all they want, man. IMG Academy doesn't recruit scrubs in high school. Won a national championship with them. And again, you're talking about before J.J. McCarthy, they were trying to run Harbaugh out of town. Harbaugh was interviewing with the Vikings. He wanted to get out of town so bad. J.J. McCarthy comes in, cleans all that up. They beat Ohio State, and he wins a national championship. J.J. McCarthy is a winner. Now, he's not perfect. Like, I don't want to come on here, every podcast and talk about how perfect J.J. McCarthy is. One issue coming out of training camp is the transition from the center to J.J. McCarthy. They've had a lot of fumbles in training camp. That's what's been coming out. So they've got to get that together. But in terms of his consistency, there's also been some times where I've heard he's trying to force the ball in to the number 1 wide receiver a lot. When JJ was out there, Justin Jefferson was out there healthy, he was trying to force some passes to him. And I think Byron Murphy got to a couple of those. Isaiah Rodgers got to a couple of those. Like those windows close fast. But he's going to have those moments. He's going to have those mistakes. But man, for all intents and purposes, man, I've seen quarterbacks, and I think I have a good eye for quarterbacks. J.J. McCarthy is that dude, man, and I think this is the first time in a long time, probably since, Teddy Bridgewater and Dante Culpepper, in terms of longevity of a franchise quarterback. Man, this is going to be the first time we've had a franchise quarterback in purple in a long time. And that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's definitely the first time. Like the center, here's the one thing I know, and you and I know this. What is practice for?
Practice is to hone and sharpen your skills, get your reps.
Right? So when do we want our players to pretty much mess up?
Practice,
right?
We're talking about practice?
Practice.
Not a game.
Now, Coach, tell me, when is the first game?
The first game for the Minnesota Vikings,
Yeah.
or are you talking first real game?
Yeah. It's like December 11th or something.
Yeah.
11th or 12th, right? Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
right?
September, yep.
Yeah. Go to Soldier Stadium, That's a long time, and there's a lot of good to get this stuff out. He has been told and coached to try certain things so that he can figure out what he can and cannot do, and especially versus this defense. So when I hear the where he's trying to put passes and things like that, all I'm saying is I'd rather you try to put it there in practice than in the game and be able to squeeze it through there, right?
Yeah,
this is the time when you work on that so you can make the adjustments and, have a better reaction to it. You and your center, you and Kelly, this is you and Kelly's first year. Like, you and Kelly are trying to get used to it, right? Maybe it's something with the step. Maybe it's you pulling too soon. Whatever it is, that'll be fixed. The young man, here's and this has come all the way since Harbaugh has said about it. And Metellus, who went to Michigan as well, said Harbaugh taught them how to be a pro, right? In that Michigan system, right? They both went to Michigan. Martellus went there with him. Like, they taught him how to be a pro. And what I can say that everyone has said, from Harbaugh to teammates, past and new teammates with the Minnesota Vikings, is that it ain't about him at all being the leadership's there, the confidence there. This is just about him understanding how to play in the NFL and making an adjustment like he had to make from college. He has everything in his belt already. And then he's got a hell of a offensive minds, when it comes to his quarterback coach, even Wes, as the offensive coordinator in KOC, like, he has all these guys that are helping him. It's just about him playing in the NFL and doing exactly what he's able to do. I look at rookie quarterbacks that have had success and what was around them the last couple of years. CJ Stroud 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Man, he has some great things around him. Jaden Daniels last year. Man, he has some good things around him. Bo Nix, man, he has some good things around him. And then you look at those coaches that coach them, right? And you just say certain rookies, organizations fail quarterbacks, not quarterbacks failing organizations. And I'm going to sit with that. Like, when you really think about that, when KO started saying that a couple of years ago, like, I had to think about that. And you're right. A lot of quarterbacks have been in a bad system, started at the wrong time, probably should have sat down before they got in there because they didn't have the right support system around them. And here's a kid who has all the support around him, right? He's got everything. What does he not have?
Right. It's scary, Pat, to think about, man. And I hate to use the 14-4, 14-3, whatever the Minnesota Vikings were last year, man. I hate to use that because I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are going to win 14 games this year. But I do think they're going to be a better team. I think they're going to be a better team, more equipped to make a run. I could give a damn about the 14-3 season, because that doesn't tell the whole story to me, because it was fool's gold at quarterback. Sam Darnold had a great year for the Vikings. I'm not disparaging that, but you saw a glimpse of when times got tough, what would happen to Sam Darnold. You saw a glimpse of that with Kirk Cousins. When times got tough, what would happen? I don't think that J.J. McCarthy has that kind of DNA. I think he's clutch. He's very efficient on third down. This dude is a little bit different than any other quarterback that we've ever had. And I think it's going to show, man.
His emotions, his dog, he has the dog in him. Like, yeah. And his emotions is just like, you look at him and we're not used to it, right? And we're used to seeing other people with it. But his swag, the way he walks, the way he talks, if you listen to him, he's very confident. He keeps a smile on his face because I think he's saying in his head, shit, I can't wait to just show y'all this. Like that's what I feel like. Keeps smiling. Like, I can't wait till I show y'all this because I've been waiting for this. And I'm so amped for it. Right? He keeps that smile on his face, and he keeps it on his face for a reason. I can't wait for everyone to see in UP Nation. Let me just say this, and I think Coach Gomes would agree. Like, when we say we're not down in the Vikings, when we say we don't feel like they're gonna win 14 games, right?
Right.
What is not winning 14 games? That could be 13. That could be 12. That could be 11.
14 games is hard, man.
So that is hard to do. This is what I do believe, and I'm not afraid to say it out loud, right? I'll pretty much, and anybody, you can come back and hit me with this, anybody in UP Nation, I promise you we win the division, though. That I do promise you. So to win the division, you're going to have to be a double-digit win team. You're going to have
to
be
a double-digit win team.
So we will win the division. How many wins that is, that's going to dictate not on J.J. McCarthy, but how we do in that middle of that. Like, you as Vikings fan, you have to love after the bye week, the next 5 games after the bye. You have to love that as a fan. to be able to see the defending champs, the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Lions are, and I think the Lions 2 of the last 3, but there's other teams, playoff teams in that. And you gotta love that. That's Washington Redskins, I think, are in that as well.
Washington Commanders.
Commanders. My bad. Washington
Commanders. I say it all the time.
Hey, the Commanders are in that, but it's a stretch of 5 games that is what's going to tell a lot about who we are, and for that I love. And these are teams that we're not accustomed to beating when we play, right? And past years, I don't remember last time we played Baltimore Ravens, but I'm pretty sure we ain't never beat the Baltimore Ravens, right?
That's been a while.
I'm pretty sure the last time I remember us playing Philadelphia Eagles, we was in Philadelphia losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. The last 3-4 times that I know, we have lost to the Philadelphia Eagles at Philadelphia.
Right.
So this is a different team. This is a different organization from, the past years of what they're done. And you got a young man who's a 22-year-old that's going to lead the way.
And it's going to be fun to watch, man, because when you say lead the way, yeah, he's going to lead the way. The last time the Minnesota Vikings beat the Ravens, October 22nd, 2017. So it's been a while. It has been a while.
Have we beat when was the last time we beat the Philadelphia Eagles? That's what you should actually tell, because I don't know NFC Championship games. I don't know them people going over there just massacring us. So
yeah, and it seems like we always play the Eagles at their place. Last time we beat the Eagles, October 7th, 2018, we beat the Eagles 23-21 at Lincoln Financial Field. So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. This is Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I got my guy, Mr. Patrick Buchanan, on again for UP Nation. Pat, when you look at the Vikings, man, and you look at their year, it's easy to see that this is a playoff team, but how scary is this team, man? Because I go unit by unit and I try to take my bias and my fan hat off, and I look at how they've improved all over the place, the areas where they really needed to improve. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah did that. I mean, our offensive line, Pat, is just nasty and awesome. Our front seven is just nasty and awesome. And when you have an offensive line in the front seven, that's usually a good formula to do some really, really good things. Now, if J.J. McCarthy hits, how good are the Vikes, man? Like, I know there has never been a rookie quarterback to lead his team to a Super Bowl title. That's never happened in the NFL. A rookie.
He's not a rookie.
Well, technically,
you're right. He's not a rookie.
You're right.
He's not a rookie.
He is a rookie.
What was Patrick Mahomes in year 2?
Listen, Patrick Mahomes got a chance to practice year 1. J.J. McCarthy hasn't practiced. This is his first year of full-fledged practice.
Patrick Mahomes ain't got no national titles neither.
Hey, I get that. I totally get that. I'm just saying, for a quarterback that has never lined up under center, and you could say that he didn't practice, man, that's a difference. If he were to lead the Minnesota Vikings to a Super Bowl, and I'm talking about a Super Bowl victory, it would be unprecedented, Pat. It would be unprecedented. And I honestly think, not trying to be a fan here, but they honestly have a chance to do it, Pat. Everything is in place, barring any catastrophic injury. If there's no big injury for the Vikings and they stay relatively healthy, man, oh man, if J.J. McCarthy is even a little bit better than average, Pat, I think it's going to be a great year.
I'm gonna stay away from the SB right now. And the only reason I'm gonna stay away from the SB.
What you gonna stay away from the SB for?
The only reason I'm staying away from the SB, and this is for me. This is the fan. The fan of me has to, because anything less, I will get upset. Now, I'm going to sit here and hope for a great year, double-digit, win the division, everything else. But it's almost like you're sitting on the edge because we've been in so many games. And if we get to the NFC Championship game, I'll be on the edge of my seat the whole game. And because we know what NFC Championship games have looked like. And if I'm going to just wait to see what happens. Everything has to come into place. Like I said on last week on the podcast, I think the schedule is favorable to sharpen iron, to make us better. Like, I mean, it's favorable that the opponents that we're going up against get us prepared for the postseason. So that's what I mean by that. I love the toughness of the schedule. I love that these games are at home though, versus all these really good teams. But I love the toughness of the schedule. Like the fact that you have to go overseas and play back-to-back games, back-to-back overseas. Like that's tough to leave. Like whether someone say, oh, well, it shouldn't be that bad. They're over there 2 weeks, they can play. Dude, you're away from family. You're away from the states, right? You're away from Minnesota. You're away from the country. You're away from everything that that is accustomed to your life. The way you live, because you can't live that way somewhere else, right? You're living out of a hotel for basically 3 weeks, right? 2.5 weeks, because when are you getting there, right? You have to adjust to the time. So you're going to practice all week out there to adjust to the time. So essentially, you're going to be out there for 3 weeks. Away from it all. And football. That's tough.
It's a test. It's a test.
That's a massive test. Yeah, they get a bye week afterwards. Yeah, to come back home and readjust their time clock.
Yeah. And that's no joke, man. Jet lag is no joke.
But you adjust the time clock and then you play the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep. Here it comes, man. This schedule is set up perfectly for a guy to cut his teeth like J.J. McCarthy, man.
Yes.
And I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to pass the test. Like I said, at worst, they're going to come out of that first 5 games 4-1. And it is going to tell the personality of this team when they have to run through that gauntlet. It's either going to break you or it's going to make you. And I think the Minnesota Vikings have again, man, barring some catastrophic injury, I think the Minnesota Vikings are prepared for every test that's out there in the NFL that anybody can throw at this football team. I just got great feelings about this football team. I just hope that they can stay healthy. That is my thing right now, because that can throw a monkey wrench into everything. They can throw a monkey wrench
in any team. Like I think that becomes we always, you need a little luck, and that's the little luck that's needed, right? So they'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm relaxed in it. I'll hopefully sometime this preseason time, I can be able to go through the schedule again and give another what I feel about the record, right? I need a little bit more time.
But right? You was on point last year, Patrick Buchanan.
It was, I mean, I saw something last year and I know, and I see something, but right now I'm holding it in because what I see and what I know, and what I hear and I see and I know, I just believe in something that's special. I was the one that said, let Sam go. It was not JJ's time. This is his time now. I said last year it was Sam's time, and it was Sam's time.
Yeah.
It's JJ's time right now. It is B-Flow's time. It is KOC's time. It's Quasi. It's the Wilf's time. It's the state of Minnesota time. But I'm a slow roll through it, Coach.
Hey man, we'll have our pick'em episode where you come. We'll go game by game. I know you're not scared of that, and I know UP Nation, the Purple Gang, Skull Nation, is gonna be right there with us for that episode. Hey, listen, man. For those of you, we will be at the joint practice. When is that joint practice? August 13th?
August 13th.
August 13th, Minnesota Vikings, New England Patriots joint practice. Purple Nation, Skull Nation, UP Nation, Purple Gang, those of you that come out to the joint practice, we'll be out there. Make sure you come up and say hi to us, man. This is Unconventional Playbook. Please take the time to hit that like and subscribe button. Pat, thanks for joining us on the show, man. It's always good talking Minnesota Vikings football with you.
Yeah, man. I love this time, right? Like, oh, where was Pat at doing the Timberwolves or whatever? Listen, man. Let me talk this purple up, and we can keep talking this purple. And sometimes I just need a breather, just because this is what I love. Like, I coach basketball. I love basketball. Is something special, but there's nothing like football.
UP Nation, put your thoughts in the comments. Let Pat know that you're happy he's back on UP Nation, talking a little bit of football. Got some big things coming up the rest of the week. Make sure you tune in. And again, take the time to hit that like and subscribe button. Man, this has been Unconventional Playbook for myself and Patrick Buchanan. We will make sure to see you when we see you. Skol.